Hello guys, this is Pedram Raufi and you're watching the markets review of the day. You're going to go through the stock market, forex market, and of course the cryptocurrency market. You're going to check the different assets, different currencies of the stock market, of indexes of the stock market, and forex pairs, main forex pairs, and cryptocurrency assets which we have on our platform on our MT4, MT5. So we're gonna actually make some technical analysis of the situation for day traders and for scalpers as well. But we are mainly going to see what would go on during some weeks, or what kind of news background we have. So we're going to check all of these factors in this program. Don't forget to watch it till the end. We're going to, as always, we're going to actually start today's program by the main news and the main impact which we have now on the market. As you know, the Omicron variant, the mutation is spreading around the world, and there is some fears in different countries about that lockdowns would start again. And as you know, Pfizer and Moderna already said that the vaccination, the third booster shot, is ready, but it's gonna be on the markets about 1 month. So during this month, we actually have to wait. And what would go on in China, especially due to the lockdowns which we have nowadays in China, which are continuing across the mainland, we cannot actually be so sure that they won't spread further. So maybe these lockdowns are going to get to continue, and this factor really could ruin the situation on the stock market of China and the stock market of the United States and whole world as well. So there is a moment of fear, there is a moment of crisis which we actually could get and could have. And mostly because of this factor, oil prices as well could get dumped really, really deep, and it could actually have a really hard correction in the near future. As you know, nowadays oil prices are rising just because of the OPEC countries. The countries of the OPEC are not really ready to increase the amount of oil that they are producing. And not all of them are ready to just increase this amount, to increase this volume of the oil. So the situation which we have here now is oil actually continuing the moderate upward movement, but realistically, till the third booster shot is getting ready, we could have some factor of scare, some factor of crisis during this month, to the end of this month, to the February. And due to these factors, we are now going to analyze the market, and we're actually going to start from the economic calendar of today and what kind of releases we had for today and what kind of releases we are going to have. So as we see for today, there was a European Central Bank President Lagarde speaks, which could have a good impact on euro. But anyway, Federal Reserve System Chairman Powell, the Jerome Powell, is going to testify at 10 o'clock by the Greenwich time. And then there's a EIA short-term energy outlook, which had its own impact. This release has its own impact on the oil prices. And here as well, we don't have any prognosis. What we can say, we can just say that maybe the volatility is going to rise. And due to the Federal Reserve System latest position that they are really sure about the high inflation and they are going to hike the interest rates, we would be more sure about the dollar's strengthening than gold or stock market strengthening. So here are the main things for today, and we have to actually look after them. Let's see what is going on with dollar prices. But before we get to dollar, we have to actually look through the stock market indexes because of the opposite correlation which index prices have with the dollar prices. This opposite correlation actually helps us to find different solutions for trading during the day. S&P 500, the main United States in the index, and the main industrial index of Dow Jones, as we see. Both of them are showing us on the 15-minute chart and the short-term chart, both of them are showing us that they're kind of getting strengthened above some supports. But here we have to actually pay attention that due to the 4-hour chart, S&P 500 and Dow Jones, they got a really impulsive upward movement. And so because of this, we cannot say anything good about the S&P 500 until the about the S&P 500 and about Dow Jones until the price is under 35,000, or I'm sorry, 36,000 for Dow Jones. Until price is under 36,000 and 36,500, we cannot say anything good about the future rise of the index price. But don't forget that some analysts from the, if I don't make mistake, from the Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs, yesterday said that buy the dip and stock market is going to rise again. So here and now we have some suspicion about some speculative upward impulse on the stock market. So we have the suspicion of upward impulse on the Dow Jones and on the S&P 500 as well. As we see, technically it's possible. But after this, the continuation of downward movement is the most main thing that we have to know and we have to be ready for during the midterm. So due to this factor, the main thing that maybe is going to happen to dollar indexes is that here we have dollar index 15-minute chart. What is going on the 4-hour chart, let's say? There's some strengthening, but as we see here, the potential of downward impulse is high as well. So we had some kind of retest of local support, but the amplitude is really low. So because of this fact, the nearest downward impulse is really possible. So we have to know that maybe speculatively we are going to break through 95.60 or 95.50, and just after this kind of thing, we could get ready to get into buys. I mean, the dollars buys and be bullish. But before and until we get at least above 96.40, we have some suspicion, we have some probability of the price downward impulse and the breakthrough of 95.60, 95.50. So don't forget about this factor as well. Let's go through the Forex pairs, the main Forex pairs, which we actually check on every session. And let's see what's going on with euro dollar, pound dollar, Australian dollar to United States dollar, and New Zealand dollar to United States dollar. On the 15-minute chart, on the short-term charts, all of them have a really shrink amplitude, they have a shrink volatility, which could mean that prices are going to accumulate some energy and maybe they are going to make some impulses. But what kind of impulse here is more realistic? As you see on the Euro USD chart, on the GBP USD chart, and on the Australian dollar is actually less visible, but on the Euro USD and GBP USD is more visible, that we have some widening of volatility, which means that the tradings here are really dangerous. Main thing that we can say is that because of the probability of near stock market uprising and speculative rising, price rising, we have some probability of the continuation of upward movement of all of these four pairs as well, because dollar is going to fall in the near future because of the thing that we saw, that we know from the market, from the news background, and etc. So here's a risk factor for me, but for scalpers this could be good. It could be a really good moment to get into market. So here I have shrinking with a downward in the downward channel near to the maximums for GBP, and for euro we have a really impulsive downward movement, mostly due to all of these both situations. The next reversal is more realistic. So the next strengthening and the continuation of upward movement for both of these pairs is more realistic. And Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, due to the 15-minute chart, we have the consolidational movement which is continuing, and the potential of downward impulse is as high as well. But here we have some mirror level of 0.7180, 0.72. Here we have a mirror range, and mirror range is a really good range because above this range we can be really sure about the continuation of upward movement, and under this range we can be sure about the continuation of downward movement. So until we get above this range for Australian dollar, the continuation of downward movement is more realistic, and only after we get above this level we could be more bullish. We could get more bullish. So here is a really important range, which is mirror range, and it got retested. Prices are going to reverse from it. Maybe in the near future we could get some downward movement, but the most speculative thing that we have here is the probability of the upward impulse. The thing that really could happen, which really could make most of traders to make mistakes. So it really could make you to believe that price is going higher, but after some impulse, after this kind of impulse, which really could happen here, the prices are not going to rise that fast as you want. So be careful here, due to the Australian dollar 4-hour chart, midterm chart, and due to the New Zealand dollar midterm chart as well, situation mostly look like that we could get some upward impulse here. And don't forget that here as well, due to the 4-hour chart, here we have the widening formation, which means that prices could make impulses upward and downward as well. So due to the Australian dollar chart, we have to just wait for the strengthening above 0.72, and before that maybe the prices are going to fall. But due to New Zealand dollar chart, we actually could say that the next target of upward movement, if we get an impulsive retest of 0.6780, it could be 0.68 or 6820. 6820 are the next targets. And let's see what is going on with the prices of commodity oil, gold prices, silver prices, platinum, and palladium. As you know, these commodity prices are the risk assets, and the risk assets price rise when something is wrong with the stock market. But due to the probability of stock market nearest or the nearest future rising or the speculative upward movement, which some analysts are actually predicting that stock markets could really continue the speculative upward movement. Due to this factor, we cannot be really sure about an upward movement of gold or silver in the near future. As we see, due to the 15-minute charts of gold, of silver, platinum, palladium as well, the upward movement which we have here on these assets, on the commodity, is really moderate. It's really moderate, and just pay attention that we need to get strengthened further, because we are actually strengthening from the bottom of the market, and 1800 still be the main level which from which we are going to say, is price going to strengthen above it, or is going to fall further under it. So here we have a mirror level, main level, the most important level from previous years, 1800. We get really far from it, and shrinking of volatility shows us that the continuation of downward movement here is more logical. So mainly in the midterm, maybe we could be more sure about the downward movement than the retest of 1800 from the upper side, And if we get in the future, if we get strengthened above this level, then we can say that prices are going to get higher, to go higher. So pay attention. If stock market make any downward movement, gold prices could really make some upward movement. But the only thing that really have a really huge impact on the gold prices and silver prices is the Federal Reserve System monetary policy, which have changed previously, and it's really pro-hiking the interest rates because of the high inflation, and they admit it, and they doesn't actually ignore it. And this factor made us and made the market to believe that Federal Reserve System is going to hike the interest rate during this year about 4 times. And because of that, the gold prices in the long term really could remain under the pressure. So if you're a midterm trader or if you're a short-term trader, here you have to know that prices are going to maybe make some consolidational movement inside 1,800, 1,810. But after they get under 1,800, 1,800, the situation would be more obvious. So here for now, for short term, the continuation of downward movement for today is more possible. Let's see what's going on with silver prices. 2240 is the next target because we have some shrinking of volatility, but due to this momentum which we could get here, downward impulse and the next upward correction. But don't forget that maybe here for sellers and for bears would be really better to wait some correctional movement to 2260 or even just put the stop around 2260 and after that get into the market. So we could just have some stop order about 2260 and continue the sells if the stock market is going to rise and is going to further rise. And we have to really be careful about Federal Reserve System's chairman speeches, because if the speech is hawkish, the gold price and the silver prices and mainly the commodity prices are going to fall further. Platinum and palladium as well, they show us in the 15-minute chart on the short-term charts that they are making some shrinking volatility movement near to the bottom of the market, which could mean that we are getting near to the reversal. But here we actually just need to wait for the continuation of downward movement. The price is already get stuck under really amazing good resistance, and we can actually be sure about the continuation of downward movement of the commodity. Units is this $2 Swiss franc and this is the $2 Japanese yen. Japanese yen and Swiss franc are the risk currencies, and they actually work as gold. And when something risky is going on with the markets, with the stock market mainly, investors get into the risk assets like gold, silver, or risk currencies like JPY, Japanese yen, and Swiss franc. The situation which we have here is some resistance which doesn't really give prices to rise further due to the 15-minute chart of United dollar to Swiss franc, but United dollar to JPY is already actually mostly actually showing us that this shrinking we have, this retest of the mirror level we have, maybe in the near future we could get some downward reverse and the reversal movement. But don't forget, before any reversal movement, we are going to have some impulsive speculative movements. So mainly if stock market make any downward corrections in the near future, the prices here could really rise, but we really wait for some stop of the upward movement. We are wait for some price clashing to 115 150 or 115.60. And after the price clash into these levels, maybe we are going to have some reversal. But before that, we are going to have some impulsive upward movement. Due to the United States dollar to Swiss franc chart, unfortunately, the situation is not like that. We actually could be really sure about the continuation of downward move because of this impulsive reverse from the main support. And you have to actually know that before we're getting under 0.9240, the probability of the volatility widening is so high, and prices could really make some even upward movement. So here, in the case of price pushing to 0.9240, in the case of this kind of price pushing to this level, to the support, the probability of next downward movements would be more possible. And at least the WTI prices, oil prices, about which we actually which we talked, that mainly most of the upper countries are not really ready to increase the producing of their oil producing, and we have the energy crisis, which helps oil prices to rise further. And we have a crisis of Russia and Ukraine, which actually helped the gas prices to rise as well, which is now about $4, but it's kind of really going to rise further. So the price of energy, the price of oil, the price of gas, mainly, they are going to rise. But the thing that we actually said just now, that Russia, China are getting infected by Omicron variant. And this factor really could make countries to tighten the lockdowns, to tighten the policy of lockdowns. And because of that, the oil prices could really get under pressure, because the Chinese ports which import the oil for the factories and for the industry of China could really close. And because of this factor, maybe the demand of oil in the near future could really get lower, only because of Chinese lockdowns. So you have to be careful. There is some risk factor anyway, and it's not going anywhere. Yes, Pfizer and Moderna said that the new shot, the third shot, is ready, and within 1 month it's going to get to the markets. But during this month, what would really happen is that maybe prices of oil, prices of stock market index are going to go deeper, to fall deeper. So be careful about this factor. That's only a factor that actually exists on the markets, and it actually can fulfill as well. Oil prices, due to the midterm chart, as we see, the moderate upward movement previously we had, retest over psychological level of $80, and this moderate upward shrinking movement is not finishing. We have some kind of a really midterm divergence here, which could mean that prices could reverse. But before this reversal movement, continuation of divergence, impulsive or speculative retest of $80, $82 is possible as well. So maybe mainly we are waiting for this kind to think about the bearish market. But before this kind of scenario, maybe bearish market would be under the pressure, where bearish market won't really start. So for the bearish market to start, mainly we just need some impulsive upward retest of $80, $82. So pay attention on this factor. They could happen. They could be really effective. And US dollar to Canadian dollar. As you know, Canadian dollar has a straight correlation with oil prices, and when oil price is rising, Canadian dollar prices rise as well. This factor make United States dollar to go under, to fall a bit. And here, due to the 4-hour chart in midterm, we have some downward movement because of the oil prices upward, moderative, rising. But here, this retest of this local important and strong support makes me to believe that maybe prices are going to reverse. Maybe United dollar is going to strengthen again, is going to rise again, and maybe the oil prices are going to reverse. So guys, don't forget, midterm charts are showing us that we are really getting near to the moment of a huge, not that huge, but a 30 to 20% reversal of the stock market, or maybe on the oil market as well. Next we have Ethereum and Bitcoin prices. Let's see what's going on with Ethereum prices, as we see here on the 15-minute chart. And as we actually told you, Bitcoin and Ethereum, both of them are going to fail, are going to continue the downward movement. The main reason is that the China continued the repression on the cryptocurrency market, and many other countries, for example Kazakhstan as well, because of the energy crisis, started to actually push on the miners. So, you know, mining of Bitcoin, mining of different kind of cryptocurrency, use a huge amount of energy, use a huge amount of electricity. And because of the energy crisis, previously we had some fears about the mining closure in many countries, which is now happening. And the hash rate of the Bitcoin mining as well is kind of falling. And because of all these factors, we have the situation which we all observe nowadays, all observe today, and it's the continuation of downward movement of Bitcoin. We told you about this factor. And if you don't remember, about a month or 2 months ago, we repeated after JP Morgan or Goldman talks about that real price of Bitcoin is $30,000. It's not $40,000. It's not $50,000. It's $30,000. So here and now, there's some even analysts that believe that price of Bitcoin could really get to $30,000. It could really fall to $30,000, but for now, prices are making some correctional movement due to 4-hour chart. You know, amplitude is really low. I don't really believe on the future upward movement. Maybe we could get some speculative, impulsive movements to 43,000 to 45,000, but we actually need to get out of market. If you are a bull, if you are a buyer, you have to get out of market after this kind of impulsive movements. If you get some near retest in the near future of 43,000, 45,000, you have to know that prices are going to go further lower. So due to the Ethereum prices as well, we have the renewing of minimums, and 3,000 now is a price which we retested. Is the prices of Ethereum going to fall further? I don't think so, but as JP Morgan said, Ethereum is going to be weaker than without, and Ethereum is more weaker because of the other currencies, which all actually come more competitive to Ethereum. And because of this factor, Ethereum is going to be under pressure fundamentally, as analysts say. But $3,000 was the main target level, after the test of which we have to get in some consolidational movement. So about the Ethereum downward movement, I'm not really sure, but about continuation of Ethereum downward, I'm not really sure. But about the Bitcoin prices downward movement, we could be more sure actually. Thank you guys that you watched this video. Don't forget to subscribe on the channel and ring the bell so you would know what kind of programs we have in the future. And don't forget to check our site, our official site. We have different kind of sell-offs on our products, on our courses, trading courses, and instruments which we use, which you can use on your platform, trading platform. And because of that, don't forget to check our main site, check our official site, and don't forget to ring the bell when you subscribe on the channel so you would know what kind of programs we have so you won't miss them. Till next time, guys, have a good tradings. Bye bye.